Kenny Mclaren!
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to see so many people here today. But most of all, thanks to Hope Over Fear for organising this. They've had a great band, a selection of musicians. They've had some great speakers. I've even managed to sneak on. And of course, if it wasn't for Hope Over Fear and other groups like that, we wouldn't have the fires of independence still burning. I was going to read my notes, but it's decided to go for a sleep. Anyway, we're facing a crossroads in Scotland. We've got two routes that we can go down. One, we can go for independence, where all the decisions about Scotland are made here in Scotland. The other route is a dark, dark place, where we see the fascist state forming in the UK. Do we want to be part of that? No. Choose independence. If we're an independent nation, a normal nation, we can have the powers not just to protect our people, but to make sure everybody has all the opportunities in life they can grab. A nation where no one, absolutely no one, has to go to a food bank to feed their family. A nation where you don't need to live to 75 to get your pension. We need independence. We need it now. The UK is a failing state. It's not a democracy. When you've got a Prime Minister has to be taken to court to make sure he obeys the laws. Well, you know what? If Boris can pick and choose which laws to obey, why don't we? Why don't we tell him to stuff the Treaty of Union where the sun doesn't shine, take the nuclear weapons off the Clyde, and take the nuclear subs out of Ross Side? We want independence. The other problem you've got with the UK, an unelected Prime Minister advising an unelected head of state to close down the only democratically elected part of the UK's political establishment. And they call that democracy. It's a sham. It's a fake democracy with a serial liar in charge. But it's not just Labour, Lib Dems and Tories we have to fight. We have to fight the Scottish Pravda, or it's also known as BBC Scotland. Just the other week, when every newsroom in Scotland, UK and even abroad was talking about how the Court of Session found that Boris Johnson and co had acted unlawfully by shutting down the Parliament. Everybody was talking about it. Big major news story. What was BBC's Scotland's flagship radio programme talking about? Bees. They were talking about bees. How are they going to get the honey for their toast? What an absolute nonsense. This is how they distract you from what's happening. They manipulate the news. I mean, I've got my complaints about BBC, and like everyone else, I fired in complaint after complaint, and just like everyone else, I get the same mealy-mouthed email replying, the same nonsense that never actually answers the question you've put in. So, I'm not sending any complaints anymore. But I've not given up. What I'm doing is, I'm sending in freedom of information requests. Because they have to answer them. They have to answer them within 20 working days. Join in, it's easy. See what you can do for a freedom of information request. Ask the BBC, why are there no BBC camera crews here today? Why are there no BBC camera crews at independence rallies? But they could have a camera crew here at last week's Orange Fest. Ask the BBC these questions, but do it as an FOI request. Because unlike Boris, they have to obey the law. They have to write back to you. Can you imagine them at Pacific Quay thinking, where have all these FOIs come from? We can't avoid them, we must answer them. And if you don't like the answer, ask for an appeal. Ties them up in red tape. Because the more money they spend answering FOI requests, the less money they have for their fake newsrooms, the less money they have to demonise independent supporters, and the less money they have to attack us. Like everyone's saying, it's been five long years since the referendum. All the promises of the vow, they've been cast aside, ignored. Well, enough's enough. It's time for us to fight back and claim our independence. But it's not good enough for us just to sit there and wait for it to happen. We have to get out, get active and get campaigning, morning, noon and night. Don't wait for Nicola to tell you what the date is. Go out just now, chap the doors, deliver the leaflets, hold street stalls, hold events like this. Let everyone know, talk to your friends, your family, your neighbours, whoever. Let them know why we all need independence. So finally, just remember, independence doesn't happen by itself. Get out, get active, get campaigning. Don't be a bystander on our march to independence. Together we can do this, and together we can rise to be a nation again.